Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm fine. Today I'm going to cover the second lesson in my series of common mistakes made by Japanese students when they're using English. So please follow along in the handout. First is I was said. This is not what a native speaker would say. A native speaker would not say I was said. He would say if someone says or if someone said hello to me. In general, we do not say I was said. Instead, we say I was told, or even better, someone told me. Next is brush up on. Japanese often say something like, I need to brush up on my English. The expression brush up on is proper English, but Japanese tend to use it more than native speakers. Instead, you can say go over, improve, perfect with the stress on the second syllable, polish up, review, restudy, and study up on. For example, I need to study up on my English before I go to Japan. One moment, please. Okay. Next, page 2 is the use of numbers in essays. In essays, it's usually best to write out the numbers 1 through 10, and sometimes 11 and 12 in letters, as in 1, 2, etc. You can write the numbers above 12 as numbers, with one exception. If a number begins a sentence, it's best to write it out in letters. Next is use of elisions in English. An elision is the omission of a sound or syllable when speaking, as in I'm, let's, etc. We often combine words in speech, such as there or it's. However, it's best to avoid doing this in writing. Write the words out. There are and it is. Next is to and either. We use to in the meaning of also to show that a second thing or idea that is mentioned agrees with or is similar to the first thing or idea mentioned. I like anime and my boyfriend does too. But remember to use either if both things or ideas are negative. I don't like to study math and my boyfriend doesn't either. Next, like this or in this way. When referring to something already discussed, it's better to start a sentence with in this way or in that way, rather than like this. Page 4. Starting an essay with I think that. Japanese often start essays with the phrase I think that or I think that. That is okay if you are stating your opinion. For example, I think that to enjoy stories, it's better to read them in books than to see them in movies. The problem is that in using it to introduce a statement of fact, I think that I want to learn English, or I think I enjoyed my trip to Kyoto, I think indicates that you do not have a strong belief in something or a firm conviction that something is true. It indicates that although you think that something is true, you are not completely sure that it is true. Next, page 5. Similarly, ending an essay with I think so or I think this. Japanese often end essays with the phrase I think so or I think this. I assume that they do this because of the way essays in Japanese are commonly ended. If you want to end an essay this way, it's better to write that's what I think or that is my opinion. However, it's better not to include this at the end of an essay. When I see I think so or I think this by themselves at the end of an essay, I usually just cross it out. Next is life and lives. For some reason, Japanese often write for our life or in our life, or they write about people's life. Since these phrases refer to more than one person, it is better to write for or in our lives and people's lives. Next, let's. Apparently, when writing in Japanese like to end essays with a sentence using the sho form of a verb, such as ikimashou, exhorting the reader to take some action. And they use the expression let's to translate this into English. Let's read books together. Let's clean up our town. These sentences are not incorrect grammatically, but such expressions of exhortation are generally not used in essays in English. Next, and so on, and etc. Japanese often use these phrases incorrectly. They write sentences such as, we went to Kyoto, Nara, etc., and I like apples, oranges, and so on. In Japanese, using the expression nado in this way may be acceptable, but when you are writing in English, you should use these expressions only when it is obvious to the reader what you are referring to, such as in the sentence, I learned to say the names of the states in alphabetical order, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, etc. In the first sample sentence above, it's not obvious what places the writer is referring to in addition to Kyoto and Nara. Secondly, similarly, in the second sentence, it's not obvious what other foods or fruits the writer is referring to. Note, it is always wrong to write and etc. Etc. is the abbreviation for the Latin term et cetera, which means and similarly. So if you write and etc., you are saying and similarly. And last, it and one. It refers to a specific thing or item. I saw a car for sale, I want to buy it. One is used for any one non-specific example of a group. So type. So we would say, I like cars made by Toyota, and I'm going to buy one today. This means one of the cars sold by Toyota, not a specific one. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you again next week. Bye.